If you're tired of not making progress and you're ready to be the artist you know you're meant to be, you're in the right place. You're listening to the Singer's Path podcast. The Path, or Performing Artists Training Hub, will cover everything, including singing tips that actually work, advice from top industry professionals, and life-changing mindset shifts. Out with the starving artist and in with the thriving artist. I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, professional singer, actor, educator, and entrepreneur. I'm not afraid to speak the truth and stop the gatekeeping of quality information so you can actually become the artist you dream of being. So let's get on the path, shall we? Even though we're all on our own journeys, it always helps to have a guide. Hello. It's me, your host, Sarah. And this is part 2 of Pro Problems, where we're breaking down some common things that I've seen with people just like mentally, professionals mostly, as they're working on their voice, and like some common things that we run into. In the previous episode, we talked about, making clear goals. Apologies, sorry. The rain is dripping on the air conditioning. So if you hear that clinky sound, that is what that is. Sorry, Amanda, the audio editor. That is my fault. Well, although I don't control the weather. But anyway, in the previous episode, we talked about, what like making goals for yourself and like having like self-worth tied to your singing. Like I kind of talked about, just always yearning to finally feel like I've made it with my voice, and my mentor being like, hey, you've made it. Like the process never ends really, but like if you wanted to be like a high functioning, like master vocalist, like you're doing it, like, and kind of inviting you to reflect on, what goals you've set out specifically, and like kind of encouraging you to be like, hey, like I want to be able to sing this type of music. Okay, that's fine. That's a good goal. But if it's like, I need to sing this kind of music because that's the only way I think I'm going to be a good singer and I'll finally feel like I made it. Like, it's like, okay, let's unpack that for a second. Because you're an instrumentalist, and no matter what, if the feeling you're going for is to feel enough, you have to figure out how to give that to yourself. And in this one, we're going to explore some like pretty hard truths here. One of which I think I'm going to have a whole other episode on, but I just want to drop this here, is that if that like not enoughness is coming up in you, like, and it's like kind of getting real with like why you want the things you want and the dreams you want, like if it's because you want to finally feel good enough, and I'm like speaking from experience, right? Like I chased a certain sound and to sound a certain way because it was like, well, I want to finally feel like I'm like the good enough singer. As long as you're doing that, you are not going to be free in your expression and in completion in the way that you're capable of. Like, I'm not saying that it's bad to like to have goals. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's like if you're chasing to feel whole and like you finally made it, that's something that you really need to look at. Like, what is the hole you're trying to fill here, right? Where did you not receive the love you needed to receive? And why are you like ambitiously like trying to like fix yourself in this way versus like just enjoying the process of singing? Okay. So again, that's like a whole other thing. I'm sure we're going to get into that. I'm developing a container that's going to help artists with this sort of thing that's in the process. I've been kind of dripping it out. I really need you to get excited. Black Friday is going to be sexy as hell this year, guys. It's looking actually kind of insane. I'm so thrilled to bring that to you, bringing you that emotional support of like these very common things that artists go through and how they can help support themselves so that they can, find the wholeness within them and then just be free in their art and not feel like they're trying to like resolve some issue by doing their art, if that makes sense. Like it becomes fun again, right? And today more, we're going to be focusing on how overanalyzing in this episode and the double-edged sword of actually having the information can actually have a little bit of a pro problem on you where you start to mind F yourself. Okay. So that's going to be what today's focus is. Again, last time we talked about like the accountability, right? Putting in the work and acceptance in the training, right? Make sure you're doing the training, but also accept that this is lifelong. And then, when you have the training, you're always going to have a lot of choices, and that no choice is like bad or good, right? It ultimately does come up to what you artistically want in your song and how you want to do it, right? At the end of the day, you are the performer, you are the artist. The voice teacher is just leading you to have more access to more things. There's obviously more efficient ways of making sound, but that doesn't mean that anything is inherently like good or bad or wrong, right? So anyway, that's what we talked about in the last time. Before we dive into pro problems section 2, where we're going to talk about how maybe having this information and being a highly skilled functioning singer can be, again, a double-edged sword. But before I do that, I want to let you know again, this is the very small window of time where you have access to Discover for free. Discover is a world famous course. This has changed lives of singers. And what it does is it really helps you to teach you to be your own voice teacher. Again, not saying that this is a replacement for voice teachers. This is just saying we can't always be with our voice teachers. And if you have a codependent relationship on your teacher, that you can only sound good in the way you want to sound when you're with your teacher, that's a problem. So we need to get you on board with how you can hear and help yourself so that you actually get farther a lot faster. Okay. This is what this course does. It's actually insane. It's the information I learned as a voice teacher that I was so furious that I didn't have before, and also furious that not everybody knows this information, and they should. It should not be gatekept. I think you need to be on board with this, and that's why I've made it free to watch until September 30th. Please keep in mind, if you do not watch it after or before September 30th, it's going to be gone. It's going to be revoked. This is a small window. This is highly valuable information. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on this information. I want it accessible to you, but again, we have to have some boundaries. So you better pause this episode right the F now. Go to that link in the show notes. Check out the Discover sign up, this fall Discover. This only happens once a year where it's free to access, okay? Make sure you send it to your friends. Make sure they're signing up and they're logging in. They're watching the actual course before September 30th. We're not going to do that thing. We're not going to sabotage in that way. You're not going to go put your email in and get it registered and make an account even and not watch it. That's self-sabotage. There is information being handed to you. This is meant to find you. Do not waste it. Okay, you're here listening to this. It's important. Anyway, go do that right now. Watch it before September 30th. Yadaloo, yadalay. I made that up. I don't know. So now, okay, so say you have this information. I provided this information from Discover, right? This is information that was given to me to be a top voice teacher. Okay. It's amazing information. It's very helpful, and it's broken down in ways that make it easy to digest and make it really easy to start to listen to and identify what you need. Okay. That's what Discover's all about. But the other end of this, right? Say you're a singer that starts to get all this good information. You're starting to really get on board and really understand the process and know what you're listening for. And now all of a sudden, you have all these tools that are at your disposal, okay? That can get a little overwhelming, right? And that's why Discover, even though I'm giving it to you, it's never going to replace a teacher, right? Because it really helps to have a master with you right there, listening, hearing it from the outside, being able to listen and respond and spot you and communicate with you and customize it for you, right? Like, I'm pro taking with your voice teacher. We're just making everything a little bit easier and a little bit more accessible, and giving you more information because you should have it, okay? But let's say you get this information. I've seen this happen. Most people absolutely love this, but sometimes you can mind fuck yourself because all of a sudden you have a lot of information, but then you're getting really in your head about it. Like, you're overanalyzing it. You're going, oh God, now I have, like, this was even happening recently. It's like we pointed out a common issue that a singer was having, that they're overblowing, right? That was something that was happening. And then the singer went, okay. Then they took it on as their identity. I am an overblowing singer. I even do that too. It was like, my recent thing is like, my tongue is in a war with me. And then actually Linda, again, I mentioned her. She's my mentor. Her name's Linda Tompkinson. She's like one of the best voice teachers in the entire world. And I do not say that lightly. She's literally taught me so much. I owe so much of what I'm teaching you to her. So if you want a one-off lesson with a fucking kick-ass lady, like, this is Sing with Linda. She's amazing. Anyway, even this, like, we were at conference and we were hanging out. We're pretty close. And, you know, I'm making this joke and it's like kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy. And I'm like making all these weird character noises because I'm so extra. And, you know, I'm like saying I'm in a gang war with the back of my tongue. And she's going like, well, yeah, when you keep saying it like that and you keep like speaking in these weird voices and talking like that, of course you are. She just like calls me out on my shit all the time. I love her. Anyway, I'm going to see her soon. But she was like, yeah, like, but that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's like then if you're like a perfectionist singer and you really want to get it right, this is why the part one of like, what are you doing this for? Like, what is your goal? Is it just to like feel good enough? Because then your perfectionism is going to be like, I need this to be good enough, but then it's never good enough. You know what I mean? And so it's like, then you take on this persona of like, I am a singer with a tight tongue. I am overblowing singer. And then it's like, okay, that's not helping. That's not helping your perfectionism. That's not helping your actual goal. It's just, again, this is why in Discover 2, we'll talk about habits. You have this habit right now. Your habits will shift, especially when you start to work on them. You might start off as an overblowing singer, and then all of a sudden you start to like over resist, and then you're squeezing all of a sudden because, you know, you basically were one end of the balance and you got yourself to the middle, and then somewhere along the way you kind of crossed into no man's land and swung the complete other way, right? So it's like, again, this kind of brings me back to the point of if you're accepting that it's lifelong and you're accepting it's kind of this pendulum swing, and you're doing the work of constantly drilling your vocal balance, which is really your relationship to your true balanced sound, okay? When you're focusing on that, then the relationship to these pendulum swings becomes a little easier. It's like, oh, okay, I went in this direction. I went a little too far. Okay, I love and accept where I am. All right, I'm coming back to balance. Okay, I'm working on that a little while. Oh, those exercises aren't working anymore. Okay, now I'm in the opposite land. Okay, I know what to listen for. All right, I'm going to swing back to balance, right? It's literally this, it's a pendulum. That's why it never ends, because your body's always changing, and you do need to adjust, right? And this is why we're talking about pro problems, because the more you work on things and the more information you know, it might mind fuck you a little bit. It might put you in your head a little bit, but you generally have better problems, okay? You have better things to choose from. It's better than you just being in the dark, but that doesn't make it perfect. Like, all your problems aren't going to go away. I'm not going to ever fantasy market you and just be like, this is like the only thing that will ever fix you. It's like, what the fuck? No, nothing can fix you. You're innately whole, right? Your voice is already good and enough. We're just conditioning it so it can do the things you want. And by conditioning it, it's going to swing in one direction and then it's going to swing in the other. And that's just because you're a human being. So again, giving you tools to actually hear and assess and meet yourself where you're at that day, and then know what tools will work best for you. And if they don't work best, know what other tools are available so you can try those out and see what feels better is going to be the actual solution for you for for establishing a long-term relationship with your voice and falling in love with what you're capable of doing and what your real sound is, and having all of these choices, right? So that's that. That's a lot of information. Like what does your brain do when you have a lot of information? I think sometimes another thing that happens, especially with pro singers, is y'all are such like good students, right? You really listen, you really take notes, right? It's and that's kind of sometimes a problem, actually, but not in like there's anything wrong with you. No, it's just a mindfulness of, if you're a good student and you want to get something really badly, like you really want something, you are innately probably going to overcorrect. And again, that plays back into this pendulum swinging thing. The more you overcorrect and you're like, well, she's telling me to make a bratty sound. Okay, I'll make the brattiest sound that I've ever heard in my whole life. It's like, guys, chill. Y'all high achievers, y'all successful people, you need to barely take those notes. You need to take a note that a teacher gives you like you're dumb as a rock. Okay, because what you end up, sometimes it's even just the idea of the note that's enough. Just the idea of thinking that thing is enough. These are small muscles, guys. These are small muscles. Tiny. You don't need to full send all the time. So that's another thing the pro singers do. It's like, there's sometimes a little, even though you're pro, and this isn't everyone, there's some people that have great relationship, but sometimes our like physical awareness and relationship and our ability to anticipate and understand the nuances of things is the very thing that's holding you back, which is also being caused by your desperation, your desperation to get it right and figure it out versus surrendering to the process. Guys, if you take any of my advice, this is it. The more that you can surrender through the process, and again, accept where you're at and just know that it's never ending, and be okay with where you are, the minute you do that, you are going to get the thing you want. You're going to relax enough. You're going to get sensitive enough to the physical cues. You're going to actually listen to your teacher. And then I swear to God, that's when people take off. That's when breakthroughs happen. But as long as you are desperately clinging onto that thing that is trying to make you feel good enough, you are not going to hit the mark, because you are going to be swinging like a fucking feral child trying to hit a T-ball, and you just keep fucking missing it because you're hitting too hard. There's almost this hook game there is a game at bars where you have like a string with a ring on it, and then there's a hook, and it's more about like lining it up and just dropping the hook so that it swings like a pendulum and lands on the hoop lands on the hook. It's kind of like that. And if you keep fucking throwing the ring to hook onto that hook, right? It's just too much, and it just will bounce off the wall, or the rope will do something weird, or it'll hit you, or it'll completely miss. Like, it's also like the analogy you can use is like a ship in the night, like steering a ship in the night. If you just steer it like a little bit, 1 degree, right? It's over the course of the long run, it's going to go really far, and it's going to get you where you want to go. But if you like way overcorrect, like what? Like, you're just going to be completely going in the wrong direction. I don't know. I think the hook analogy was better. I don't know. That was from my ass. My business coach that I'm obsessed with, her name's Tiffany. She says this from my ass. And I think that was an analogy from my ass. Here's another thing I'm going to point out to kind of wrap up this pro thing. Again, it all stems around what is your goal, and are you like trying to fill a hole in yourself? Okay. I know that's rough. I also only know because I've done this to myself, and I can speak so bluntly because I'm in the process of healing it myself and returning to the true joy. And the way I got away from my joy is in the perfection and the micromanaging of needing to get it right. Again, with more tools, you're going to have more to fuck with. And the more you have to fuck with, the more, if you're a little control freak like me, because I know y'all are crazy, if you're a little control freak and you're trying to like fuck with it too much, again, you're not only going to like overway swing the sound and like pendulum hit in the other direction, but you're also going to mind of yourself out of joy, out of the freedom. Remember, at the end of the day, singing is supposed to feel like an easy sigh. I want you to have this information and be cognizant so that you have it and you're empowered in knowledge. However, part of the reason why it's beneficial to sit there with a teacher that's listening to you is that you can turn off your brain on the logic behind everything, and then you can just physically do it and then try to match the sensation. But you have to be like aware of like how you got there. That's the discrepancy, so that you can recreate it later. And like, you can't be thinking of like 10 fucking things. You can think of one thing at a time, right? So that's like kind of the let go and surrender. When we're aligning you, how can we like summarize this into like a very simple thought so that you can find this again, okay? Without micromanaging and like overthinking it and then overcorrecting, and then you're swinging and you're frustrated and you're like, why can't I get it? And it comes down to this, like, are you surrendered? Do you want this too bad, right? Are you micromanaging it? Did you forget that singing is supposed to be easy? Because when you're a perfectionist about it, that is the surest route to losing your joy, losing intuition, losing the artistry. Because again, what is the purposes of us studying technique? The purpose of us studying technique is to actually free you. We're trying to free you and give you choice and your joy and your expression. We're not trying to get you to do it right, do it perfect. We're trying to get it to be as efficient as possible so you have as much choice as possible, and so that you can go and do a show for 8 times a week and not blow out. But what we're not doing is trying to snuff out your artistry. That's not approved. We're not doing that. Okay. So I need you to check yourself on some of these things. Again, these are very specific problems that professionals kind of mindfuck themselves with. There's some more things that I will speak to in future episodes like this. But again, if you like this episode, don't forget to leave us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts, especially. And if you did leave a review, make sure that you screenshot it and send it to me at singerspath@gmail.com. I will enter you to win a free private lesson with me, which is insane because, again, I don't offer those to the public. I don't offer them to the public. So if you want a chance to actually have a lesson with me, this is kind of it. Okay. Make sure you write that review, take a screenshot, send it to me. If you don't like the episode, I don't know why you're still listening, and don't be a meanie and because it's important that this podcast gets out to other singers, because we're dropping some tea on here. We're healing relationships with our voice. We're calling ourselves out. This is like half life coaching. Okay. So it's important that this gets pushed out. So refer to your friends, send it to a singer who will appreciate it. A pro singer that gets in their head and micromanages. This is your invitation to just chill and know you're already on the right path, and maybe surrender and do a little less. And you'd be surprised how far that goes. And with that, I hope you're signing up for Discover. Do not miss that. I will be mad at you if you miss that opportunity to get this quality info. Please do yourself a favor. Go to the link in bio. Make sure you sign up for that. Watch it before September 30th. I'm super happy for you. Maybe some winds in the east are talking about a potential sale coming up. So you're going to want to be on that email list so that you know about it. Otherwise, you will be very sad. You will be very sad. But actually, and then you'll be pissed and you'll email me and I'll have to say, I'm sorry. Anyway, with all of that, I am so happy to talk to you today. I'm looking forward to talking to you next time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. This is me signing off. See ya. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps me get this information out to more artists all over the world. Let's work together to spread the joys of music. Until next time, I'm your host, Sarah Bishop, signing off from the Singer's Path podcast. Thanks for listening.